How's it going, you guys? So, of course, whenever we think of health and whenever we think of how to be healthy, the first thing that usually comes to mind is diet and what we eat. Especially most of the people that probably have been following me, especially over the last year or so, because I've been so fixated on nutrition that it's blinded me to the entire spectrum of factors that play into this whole health thing. So this is a very important thing to think about, reflect on, and to discuss, because without thinking about the factors outside of diet and nutrition, it's very easy to live a life that's even unhealthier with this healthy eating than it would be if you never even thought about health to begin with. So, first of all, okay, let's just start with the basics, okay? Because this can get really deep and intricate. So, in order to be healthy, so what is health? Well, objectively speaking, the definition of health is to be free of disease. To be free of disease and to have a high level of well-being and functioning in your daily life. So that means no diabetes, no heart disease, not being on medications, okay? If you're on medications, you're not healthy. You're on, you have diseases that you haven't solved yet, because medications are just band-aids to treat a disease. And generally, most of the time, unless you've got a permanent condition, usually like if you got an organ surgically removed or something, then you don't need medications. So anyway, that's objectively health. That's objective health. Now, what about mental health? Mental health. So when I think of disease, okay, for me personally, my definition of health is being free of dis-ease. And when I think of dis-ease, I think the most functional way of looking at it is a lack of ease, a lack of well-being in all aspects of life. So dis-ease is a condition that brings suffering of some kind, okay? Removes the ease from that area of your life. So this could be obviously mental health, first of all. So if you are very rigid, okay, obviously that's not very easy, right? A rigid mindset sets you up to stress. It sets you up to stressful relationships, a stressful approach towards other people, a stressful, rigid perspective on life, which causes you stress. And even just like driving through traffic, you're gonna be stressed out because you've got this strict way of seeing other people. Like, oh my God, like these people drive like crap. They're gonna kill me. Blah blah blah. They should drive better, And that's not really benefiting you. It's not benefiting other people, and it's not hurting other people. It might hurt other people indirectly because it'll cause you to drive crazy, but it's hurting you. It's hurting you deep down inside. It's a universal concept, and it plugs into everything. And so to remove dis-ease from your life, the best approach is to try to create more ease in your life through various mechanisms. Now, again, I can get really deep into this, but let's just keep it basic. So, paying attention to mental health is just as important as paying attention to physical health. Making sure that you have friendships, like productive, happy, good friendships. Making sure that you have productive, happy relationships, intimate relationships. Physical touch is very important. A healthy sex life is very important. Healthy communication with other people is very important. That's the fundamentals of all relationships, is your communication. And then living a life of purpose, having a job that, that you enjoy, that you can pour your passion into, that you feel that is in alignment with who you are. Now, the thing about that is a lot of people don't believe that they can make money doing what they love. But that's coming from a very limited mindset. If you don't believe that you can make enough money doing what you love, then either you don't know yourself well enough to the point where you don't know what you like you don't know what you're passionate about, and so obviously you can never make money doing what you're passionate about if you don't even know what you're passionate about to begin with. So either you don't know yourself that well, you don't know what you're passionate about, or you do know what you're passionate about, no matter what it is, but you don't believe it's possible to make a living off of that, or you feel like that'll ruin your passion somehow. So that's a limited belief, and no matter which one it is, and you just haven't examined it well enough. And I can't help anyone who functions from that paradigm. It's something that they've chosen to believe. If you believe that you just can't make money doing what you're passionate about, for some reason, somewhere in your life, you subconsciously assume that was a beneficial belief to take up. And no one's going to be able to change that. That's your way of seeing the world, and if you're that rigid and stubborn that you can't see that it doesn't have to be true, well, that's your stressful life, and you're just going to be stressed and suffer, So anyway, developing some type of career that you're passionate about, no matter what it is, that's very important. Because if you're making money doing something you don't like, that's going to be 8 hours of your day, or however many. That's going to be a large chunk of your life that you're spending doing something that takes the soul out of you. It takes more than it gives. You're getting all this money to live a life that you're not really fully satisfied with. You're going to live your life feeling half empty. You need to have a job that helps to fill your cup. Okay. You want to think of yourself as an empty cup, and you want to think of everything in your life as filling your cup with health, or filling your cup with happiness, filling your cup with positivity, or filling your cup with stress, with suffering, with bitterness. And so you want everything in your life to align with what you want, okay? And if you're starting to notice that something in your life is filling your cup with more bitterness or stress, or filling your life with more unhappiness, then it's filling with positivity. So there's two options you have. Either you can change the way that you see that you're interpreting that object. So for example, if it's let's say it's a job, right, and you don't like it, it's boring or something, you could probably work on you could change the way you see it. You can look for areas of that job that you can appreciate and start to focus on how can I like my job more? How can I enjoy it more? But that's a very mature, it's more effort. It's gonna be something you gotta work on. It's not just something that you can just naturally do, especially most people. It requires changing the way you see things, and so it's not gonna feel natural at first. So you can do that, or you can just remove that altogether. You can replace the faulty object in your life with an object that you enjoy, or replace the situation that you don't like with the situation you do like. So instead of changing the way you see that job, just get another job that's more in alignment with who you are. The same thing goes with friends. If your friends you just don't, they're not giving you the health and happiness you want, replace them. Or you could just start to try to change the way you see them, and then your relationship with them will change. That's the thing people don't realize, is it's not always so much the reality of the thing that's making you angry or not, or bringing you unfulfillment. A lot of times it's the way that you're experiencing that, and you have complete control over the way you experience that. I can tell you for sure, with jobs and with people, a lot of the stresses we deal with in these relationships is that we're seeing the problem, or we're seeing the situation through problematic lenses, and we're like, oh, I hate this, I hate my boss, or whatever. And we don't realize that we're actually promoting more of that. Because the more you fixate on the customers you don't like, the more you fixate on the boss that irritates you, the more problems you're going to actually have with these people, because you're expecting problems. And it really is, self-fulfilling prophecies do happen in this regard. And again, this goes down to, if you're just fixated and rigid, in your little closed box of how you see things, you're not ever going to be able to see the possibility outside of that. And so you're going to continue to see things in that box and create more of that same thing. And this is really how things work. Same thing in a relationship. You continue to fixate on the things that irritate you, the things you don't like, you'll create more of that. And so it'll feel unnatural, and it'll take a lot of effort at first, but you can actually promote more health, more happiness, and more ease if you change the way you see some things. And the same thing goes for health. A lot of people don't believe that they can get healthy through natural means. And so they think they have to take medications and get surgeries and everything, and then they just get more and more unhealthy because of the side effects of medications, because they have not addressed the root cause of the disease. They still think they can eat a lot of processed sugar, fried foods, and McDonald's, and more diabetes and more heart attacks until they eventually die. Modern medicine never helped them. The insulin shots never helped them. In fact, it promoted kidney failure and all these other problems. But they could have easily just looked at, read some of the books that talk about reversing diabetes, for example, and they could have reversed it naturally, no matter what you believe, whether you believe a low-carb diet's best or a vegan diet's best. There are many doctors that have success with different programs reversing diabetes. And what was the difference in that person's experience? Was it the fact that, diabetes just can't be reversed without medications? Or was it that they just didn't believe it, so they never looked? So they never found the information? Even YouTube and social media, their algorithm, if you search for natural medicine, you'll see more natural medicine, and it'll block out anything outside of that. If you search for police brutality videos, you'll get more and more of that'll search up. Our social media algorithms actually are designed so that we see more and more of what we've already watched. So it keeps you stuck in that paradigm, and they don't mean to do it that way. They're just trying to give you more of what they think you want based on what you've searched. But it's very easy to believe that the world is a certain way if that's all you've been looking for. And social media makes it worse in that regard. So the point here is, in regards to health, in regards to happiness. So first of all, it's not just diet; it's your relationships, it's your careers, it's your social circle. It's where you live. If you're not happy with the place that you live at, that's at the base of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which should be a model for health and happiness and success in life. And then beyond that, before you can really solve any of these problems with health, it's your mindset. And really, what I've kind of realized since 2014, when I first awoken and realized what was really going on in everything in life, kind of scary actually, is you realize it really all comes down to the mind. It comes down to how rigid you are in your pre-existing beliefs, how willing you are to change those beliefs, and then finding the methods and finding the beliefs that give you the things you want in life. Because when you're producing failure in your life, generally that failure is stemming from a faulty belief pattern. Whether that's, usually it's doubting the benefit of something that's actually going to help you. Like you don't believe you can accomplish something. You don't believe that you can heal yourself naturally. You don't believe that diabetes can be reversed with diet. You don't believe that you can get the relationship you want. You don't believe that you're worthy of the girl or the guy that you want. You don't believe that you're worthy of the job you want. You don't believe it's possible to make money doing what you love. You, for some reason, believe that life is all stress. Like this is all belief patterns, and this is at the root of most people's problems. And the thing is, the reason why most people rely on medications and they don't actually, people for example, with mental health issues, they're like, oh, I've tried everything. I've tried every supplement. I've tried every diet. Nothing seems to help. The only thing that seems to give me relief is alcohol or is Wellbutrin or whatever. Some type of mental health drug, Seroquel, or Xanax. But think about this, how many books have they read in an attempt to understand how neurochemical balance works? You say you tried everything, but have you really? How many people have actually tried everything? Usually people say, oh, I've tried everything because they've given up on themselves, and usually they don't put the effort forth to figure out what's wrong with them. Have you read The Ultramind Solution by Mark Hyman? Have you read, how neurotransmitters are created? Do you even understand the process of depression and the process of these neurochemicals? Usually people haven't even begun to try to understand these things. And without this understanding of how depression even works, obviously they're going to be able to think, oh, depression is just a genetic thing that I'm doomed with, Nutrition can't really help with that. But, nutrition is what creates your neurotransmitters. It directly influences your mood. But obviously, then you have the other part of it is you've got to develop a vision, you've got to develop purpose, you've got to, work on all these other areas of your life. So nutrition will give your body the ability to produce good neurotransmitters and make you feel good. So you can feel good if you have a good life. But then you actually got to create a good life, because you can only produce happiness and neurotransmitters that make you feel good if you have a good life. That's a stimulus to stimulate those happy neurotransmitters. And then when you're in a stressful situation, you've got to be able to use your mind to make that situation better for you and produce more happiness, more happy neurotransmitters. So you got to control the mind, you got to fix your life situation, and have good nutrition, and it's a holistic thing. Now this is the thing. That's why people never read the book I mentioned. They don't read books about it, don't try to understand it. They don't try to address every area of their life. So, first of all, most people instinctively know that they probably could be happy. They probably could solve their depression. But they know that they have to change a lot. They know that, I can't just eat a little bit better. That's not going to have a big influence. They know that they're going to have to make a huge change with their diet if it's going to make any difference at all. And so they just assume, nutrition doesn't have a big part of it, because they're not willing to swallow the pill of the big changes that it'll make. They're not willing to actually make that big of a change. They don't feel like, having an amazing life is worth the gigantic changes that it'll require in their nutrition and whatnot. And then they know that, the reason why I feel so bad is because, I'm constantly stuck in pessimism, and I have these addictions to Facebook, social media, and these addictions to validation. Girls, they post these pictures on Facebook and whatnot to try to get likes and comments and stuff. I know a lot of girls that are really damaged in their head that they purposely post sexual statuses and things to get people to message them, to get guys to be all thirsty, and it makes them feel better about themselves. Of course, no one wants to admit this, when in reality they're not actually these, sex-thirsty women. They actually are very insecure, and that validation from social media actually makes them feel happier. Obviously, not every girl is like this, but there are a lot that are very obvious. And they're not willing to let go of this bad habit. It's a very dirty high that makes them feel good about themselves. They're not willing to let go of these unhealthy addictions so that they can actually build real self-esteem. Because how easy is it for you to just post these crazy things on Facebook to get validation? How easy is it to post a half-naked picture on Facebook and get validation if you're a good-looking girl? It's very easy. How easy is it to actually develop a passionate career in your life, eat a healthy diet that makes you feel good, find exercise and do it every day that makes you feel good about yourself and produces these endorphins naturally? How easy is it to develop a good life that makes you feel good about yourself and feel healthy and develop healthy self-esteem? How easy is that? It's not easy. It's very challenging if you have never done it before. But after like a year of walking this path, everything feels great. When you start to learn how to develop this happiness from the inside, you no longer need this validation from other people. And then you start to see everyone else who's doing it. And it's like, wow, it's crazy how fragile their lives are. And it's no wonder why they feel the way they do. But most people in society are scared as fuck of this, and that's why they live the life that they do. It really is a lack of belief in possibilities, a lack of belief in their ability, and it's a lack of willingness to change. It's an understanding of how much hard work it's gonna take to get them to where they want to be. So obviously, they're going to rather take a pharmaceutical drug. Of course, people are going to want to believe that depression and anxiety is genetic and there's nothing they can do about it. Because if their doctors tell them, yeah, man, it's just genetic, there's nothing you can do about it, then it makes them feel better. Then they feel like, oh, it's cool, that's great, because that means I don't have to change. That means all these crazy lifestyle changes that Wolfgang's talking about, it won't make a difference. So why would I put all this effort into developing an amazing life if it's not even going to make me feel better? I'm still going to be depressed because it's all genetic. I'm doomed. So I'll just take the pills they give me and I'll just assume I'm doomed, and I'll just continue living my life on Facebook, working at Walmart for the rest of my life, and, never attempting to feel good. Because it's not worth it. It's not worth all the effort. So anyway, this transfers into all aspects of health. If you look at centenarians, they all have these things in common. So, like, first of all, obviously, they eat whole, unprocessed foods. They eat, some of them eat corn and rice and beans and a little bit of eggs and meat. Some of them eat a lot of meat. Some of them eat, like they eat varied diets, but they're all whole unprocessed foods, right? They are not eating foods that make them feel like crap, because intuitively they know that if they feel like crap, that food's not good for them. So they're not forcing themselves to eat a shit ton of broccoli and then being all gassy and whatnot. They're not forcing themselves to eat a ton of whole grains if those things hurt their stomach, like the Japanese, they tend to eat a little bit of everything, high variety, but they don't eat excessive amounts of anything, especially excessive amounts of plant foods. They don't eat brown rice, they eat white rice because it's easier in the digestion, and they have some of the greatest outcomes in the entire world. Especially if you look at every generation over the last, 200 years, Japanese people have been killing the game. But they have a great social circle. They tend to walk everywhere. They tend to do a lot of physical activity. They get out in the sun. They get out in nature on a regular basis. And a lot of them live close to water. That's another thing I noticed. A lot of centenarians, they live on a beach or something. They live on an island. They live close to the sea. And I think that that's huge, because if you ever walked out on the ocean, especially the ocean of like the Mediterranean or like California, you feel so happy, you feel so healthy, you feel so calm. There's something about that just like maybe seems to bring forth positive health outcomes. Maybe it's because they're barefoot, I don't know. But there's a lot more to their lives and their longevity and their health than just the diet. And I think a lot of all of this stuff I discussed here has a lot to do with it. For whatever reason, but I can tell you you're going to be a lot happier if you start to develop these mindsets, if you start to look at health through these lenses, right? creating more ease in your life, learning, believing that you can create a life that's in alignment with your values, and then attempting to move forward towards that. So, I'll make more videos about this in the future, so subscribe if you'd like to hear about that. Leave your questions and comments down below. I hope I've helped a lot of people. Let me know what you all think. Let me know what you all think about this. I'd love to hear your feedback, and I'll talk to you on the next video.